Dear children, hope you all are in good health. I am Swaranjit Kaur, and in this video we will learn about the following topics in detail. Our first topic is electric current. What is electric current? Electric current is defined as the rate of flow of charge across the cross section of the conductor. If Q charge flows through a conductor in time t, then current is given by the formula I is equal to Q upon T. SI unit of current, SI unit of charge is coulomb, SI unit of time is second. So SI unit of current is coulomb per second, which is equal to ampere. How to define 1 ampere? 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb upon 1 second. If 1 coulomb of charge flows through a conductor in 1 second, current is said to be 1 ampere. In terms of flow of electrons, you know that charge is equal to the number of electrons flowing through a conductor. So Q can be written as Q is equal to Ne, where E is the charge on electron and is equal to minus 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb. So, if 1 ampere of current flows through a conductor, it means that 6.25 into 10 raised to power 18 electrons pass in 1 second across the cross section of the conductor. Now, electric current is a scalar quantity. The arrows which are marked in the diagram simply shows the direction of flow of positive charge in the wire. If the wire is bent, the strength of the current does not change. Moreover, the arrows representing the current does not follow the laws of vector addition. For example, two different currents of 3 ampere and 4 ampere flows through two perpendicular wires AO and BO respectively. These two wires meet at point O and then the current flows through the wire OC. The net current flowing in the wire OC is equal to 7 ampere, which is the scalar addition of AO plus OB. It means that current does not follow the laws of vector addition, because otherwise the net magnitude of current flowing through wire OC should be equal to 5 ampere as per vector addition. Next, current density. Current density is denoted by the symbol J and is defined as the current flowing per unit area perpendicular to the direction of flow. Mathematically, current density J is equal to current denoted by I upon A is the area. Current density is a vector quantity. The SI unit of current density is ampere per meter square. Dimensional formula is ampere per length square AL raised to power minus 2. As current density is a vector quantity, so its direction is same as the motion of positive charge at a point. We know that a metal consists of large number of free electrons and fixed positive ions. The number of free electrons in a metal is quite large. It is approximate 10 raised to power 29 per meter cube. These electrons are randomly moving inside the metal in any direction. These electrons are called free electrons, conduction electrons, or valence electrons. The speed of these electrons is very high. It is approximate 10 raised to power 5 meter per second. The speed of these electrons or velocity of these electrons is called thermal velocity. These electrons are randomly moving inside the metal in any direction. Hence, the average velocity of the electrons at any instant is equal to 0. Let u1, u2, u3 dash 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 un be the velocities of the electrons at any instant. Then the average velocity of the electron at any instant is equal to u1 plus u2 plus u3 plus dash 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 un upon n is equal to 0, where n is the total number of electrons in the conductor. Since the average velocity or at any instant is 0, it means that there is no net transport of electric charge in any direction. Hence, there is no electric current. Potential difference is applied across the ends of the conductor. An electric field E is set up in the direction from positive terminal of the battery to the negative terminal. Due to this electric field, all the electrons now they start moving towards the positive terminal of the battery, and we say that the current is flowing. Now the electrons get accelerated due to this applied electric field. They get accelerated, so their velocity increases, but they collide with the fixed positive ions and their velocity is again reduced. Again they accelerate but again suffer collision, and the increased velocity is again reduced. Due to repeated collisions, the average acceleration of the electrons is reduced to 0. Thus, all the electrons acquire a constant average velocity while moving from negative terminal to the positive terminal of the cell, or you can say from negative end to positive end of the conductor. This velocity is called drift velocity. What is drift velocity? The average velocity acquired by the free electrons in a conductor subjected to an electric field is called drift velocity. Let u1, u2, u3, un be the velocities of the electrons at any instant. Then the average velocity of the electrons at any instant is given by the expression u1 plus u2 plus u3 plus un upon n is equal to 0, where n is the number of free electrons in a conductor. Now, when electric field is applied, the velocity of the electron becomes, let the velocity of electron 1 be v1, which is equal to u1 plus a tau 1, where tau 1 is the time between two successive collisions. Similarly, you can write the expression for the other electrons also. V2 is equal to u2 plus a tau 2. V3 will be equal to u3 plus a tau 3, and Vn, velocity of the nth electron, is equal to un plus a tau n. The average velocity of all the electrons is called the drift velocity, which is equal to v1 plus v2 plus v3 plus dash 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 vn upon n. Now putting the values of v1, v2, v3, vn in the expression, you will get Vd is equal to u1 plus u2 plus u3 plus dash 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 plus un plus a I am taking common, bracket tau 1 plus tau 2 plus tau 3 plus dash dash plus tau n bracket close upon n. Now you know that the average velocity of the electrons before the application of electric field is equal to 0. So we are left with drift velocity is equal to acceleration into tau, where tau is the average relaxation time. Now what is average relaxation time? The time between two successive collisions is called relaxation time. The distance travelled by the free electrons during this relaxation time is called mean free path. Now we know that acceleration is given by the formula A is equal to F upon m as per Newton's second law of motion, and F is equal to QE. You have read this in your previous chapters. F is equal to QE. Q is the charge. Here in place of Q I am writing E because it is the charge on an electron. So E upon m. Now putting the value of A in the above expression, you will get Vd is equal to E capital E tau upon m. So this is the expression for drift velocity. Now expression for drift velocity in terms of electric current. Let us consider a conductor of length L, area of cross section A. Let a potential difference is applied across the ends of the conductor, due to which an electric field is set up in the direction from positive end to the negative end of the conductor. Further, let n be the number of free electrons in a conductor per unit volume, and E is the charge on each electron. Then what is the volume of conductor? Volume will be area into length. So AL, total number of free electrons, number of electrons into total volume will give you the total number of free electrons. It is N into volume of conductor AL. What is the charge on these electrons? Multiply this quantity with E. You will get the total charge on the conductor. So charge on these electrons Q will be equal to NeAl. Now when the battery is connected, the charge drift through the length in time t with the average velocity Vd, which is the drift velocity. Then what will be the expression for current? You know the formula for current. Current is equal to Q upon T. Now putting the value of Q in this expression, which is NeA L upon T, which is equal to NeA L upon T. Length upon time or displacement upon time is the velocity. So here drift velocity. So in place of L upon T, I am writing Vd. So NeA Vd, or Vd will be equal to I upon NeA. Now we also know the formula for current density. Current density is denoted by J and is equal to current per unit area. So leaving I and A on the right side, transpose NE on the left hand side, you will get J is equal to NeVd. Now for a given conductor, all these three quantities are constants. So you can write, it means that I is directly proportional to Vd, that is current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the drift velocity. Next, mobility. Mobility means how quickly an electron can move through a metallic conductor when subjected to an electric field. It is defined as the magnitude of drift velocity per unit electric field. It is denoted by the symbol mu. Mu E means mobility of electrons. given by the formula drift velocity upon electric field. Putting the value of drift velocity, it is E, charge on electron, electric field, relaxation time upon m, then upon electric field. You will get the final expression charge on electron, relaxation time upon m, E tau upon m. Or mobility of free electrons is also equal to drift velocity upon electric field. So Vd is equal to mu E. But we know that drift velocity is equal to current density upon Ne. So mu E is equal to J upon N, small e, charge on electron, capital E. SI unit of mobility is meter square per second per volt or meter per second per Newton coulomb. Next, what is electrical resistance? The obstruction offered by the conductor to the flow of electrons is called resistance. It is denoted by R. Every material has an electrical resistance, and this is the reason why conductors give out heat when current passes through them. Next, Ohm's law. Ohm's law states that current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across its ends, provided the temperature and other physical conditions remain unchanged. Mathematically, how you will write? Potential difference V is directly proportional to current I. Means if the value of V increases, the value of I will also increase. Removing the sign of proportionality, we will put a constant R. This constant R is called resistance of the conductor. So we get the expression as V is equal to IR. This is a circuit where a potential difference is applied, and due to this difference in potential, current flows in the circuit. So how you will define electrical resistance? It is defined as the ratio of voltage applied to the current flowing through it. Rearranging the relation V is equal to IR, you will get R is equal to V upon I. The unit of electric resistance is ohm, denoted by the symbol omega. Factors affecting electrical resistance. First one is the cross-sectional area of the conductor. In a thick conductor, electrons get a larger area of cross-section to flow as compared to a thin conductor. So a thick conductor offers less resistance. That is, R is inversely proportional to the area of the conductor. Second one is the length of the conductor. In a long conductor, the number of collisions of free electrons with the positive ions will be more as compared to a shorter one. Therefore, a longer conductor offers more resistance. That is, R is directly proportional to L. Third one is material of the conductor. Some conductors offer less resistance, some conductors offer more resistance due to the arrangement of fixed positive ions in them and the presence of number of free electrons. Fourth one is temperature. With the increase in temperature, the random motion of the electrons increases. At the same time, the positive ions also start vibrating, due to which the number of collisions of electrons with the fixed positive ions increases. Hence, the resistance of a conductor increases. So we have read that electrical resistance is directly proportional to length of the conductor, inversely proportional to area of cross section. So we will write it as R is directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to A. Removing this sign of proportionality, we will put a constant rho. So R is equal to rho L upon A, or rho is equal to R A upon L, where rho is the resistivity of the material and its SI unit is ohm meter as per the formula. So how we will define electrical resistivity? It is defined as the electrical resistance offered per unit length and per unit cross-sectional area at specific temperature, and it is denoted by the symbol rho, RHO. Electrical resistance is also known as specific electrical resistance, and its SI unit is ohm meter. Now the conductors which obey Ohm's law are called ohmic conductors, and when we plot a graph between current and voltage for such conductors, we get a straight line. So a linear VI curve has a constant slope and hence constant resistance. For example, carbon resistors and metals, they obey Ohm's law and they have constant resistance. This means that the VI graph which we will draw, we will get a straight line passing through the origin. Here you have two straight lines passing through the origin. This is the graph between current and voltage. Just see the first quadrant only. Linear VI characteristics. In certain cases, the graph between V and I is not linear. Such conductors or resistors do not obey Ohm's law. For example, the graph for torch bulb has a linear characteristic for a very small region in the beginning, but afterwards the ratio V upon I begins to increase with the increase in potential difference. The reason is that when current increases, the temperature becomes quite high and so the resistance increases. This is the IV graph for a torch bulb. For diodes, transistors, rectifiers, Ohm's law does not hold good even for small currents. For these cases, the ratio of V and I, that is R, is not constant. Figure shows the VI graph for a diode. This is IV graph for a diode. This is the characteristic curve of a diode. It is evident from the last part of the curve that after a certain limit, the current is not increasing even on increasing the potential difference. Next, derivation of Ohm's law. Let us take a conductor of length L and area of cross section A. Let V be the potential difference applied across the ends of the conductor. Then drift velocity is given by the formula. This expression we have already derived. It is Vd is equal to E, capital E, tau upon m, where E is the charge, capital E is the electric field, tau is the average relaxation time, and m is the mass. Now the electric field is applied across the conductor of length L. So the relationship between E and potential difference is E is equal to V upon L. Now putting the value of E in this above expression, you will get Vd is equal to E V tau upon M L. Let this be equation 1. We also know the relationship between current and drift velocity. It is I is equal to A N E V D. So now putting the value of Vd in equation 2, we get I is equal to Ne square A tau upon ml, bracket outside bracket write V, or V upon I is equal to ml upon Ane tau E square. Now all the quantities on the right hand side are constant for a given conductor. So I am writing R in place of all these quantities, where R is a constant for a given conductor and is known as resistance of the conductor. Thus V is equal to IR. We know that R is inversely proportional, directly proportional to the length of the conductor and inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the conductor. Remove the sign of proportionality, a constant comes rho. This rho is called specific resistance or resistivity. Now from this formula you can write rho is equal to Ra upon L. Now we have just derived that R is equal to ml upon Ane tau E square. So R, taking L and A from right hand side to left hand side, you will get R A upon L is equal to M upon N tau E square. So R A upon L is the specific resistance denoted by rho. So rho is equal to M upon N tau E square. The dimensional formula of electric resistivity is M L raised to power 3 T raised to power minus 3 A raised to power minus 2. Now what is conductance? The reciprocal of specific resistance is called conductance and is represented by the symbol sigma. So sigma is equal to 1 upon rho. Ohm's law in vector form. We know that V upon I is equal to ml upon A n tau E square. This expression we have derived in derivation of Ohm's law. Now transposing L to the left hand side and I to the right hand side, we will get V upon L is equal to mi upon A n tau E square. We also know that I upon A is equal to J, where J is the current density and is defined as current per unit area. And rho resistivity is equal to M upon N tau E square. So in this expression, I upon A, replace I upon A with J and M upon N tau E square with rho. So we will get, and V upon L is equal to E. So E will be equal to rho into J. E is equal to J upon sigma because rho is equal to 1 upon sigma, where sigma is the conductance which is the reciprocal of resistivity or specific resistance. Or you can write J is equal to sigma E. We can say that J is directly proportional to E. J and E are vectors, so you can put a vector sign also over J and E. So this is the vector form of Ohm's law, which states that current density is directly proportional to the electric field strength. Next, effect of temperature on resistivity. Now, resistivity of metallic conductors increases with the increase in temperature, because with the increase in temperature, the average speed of the electrons increases due to which the number of collisions increases and the average time between the collision decreases. We know the formula for resistivity. Resistivity is equal to m upon n tau e square. So with the decrease in relaxation time, resistivity of the conductor increases. So it means that with the increase in temperature, resistivity of metallic conductor increases. For small temperature variations, resistivity of most of the metals varies according to this formula. Rho T is equal to rho T naught bracket 1 plus alpha T minus T naught, where rho T and rho T naught are the resistivities of the material at temperature T and T naught, and alpha is a constant for a given material and is known as coefficient of resistivity. Now resistivity of alloys. The resistivity of alloys also increases with the increase in temperature, but the increase is very small as compared to pure metals. Resistivity of semiconductors. In semiconductors, resistivity decreases with the rise in temperature because as the temperature increases, the number of free charge carriers N are increased due to the breaking of more and more covalent bond. Now we know the formula for resistivity. Rho is equal to m upon n tau e square. So with the increase in n is in the denominator. So with the increase in n, resistivity will decrease. Same is the case for resistance also. So as n increases, resistance and resistivity both decreases. So resistivity and resistance decreases with the rise in temperature.